Story number 6, The Crow and the Swan. Once upon a time, in the depths of a quiet forest, lived a crow with feathers as black and glossy as coal. The crow was intelligent and quick, perfectly adapted to life in the woods. Yet, deep inside, it carried a burden of envy. Every time it saw a swan gliding gracefully across a lake, its pristine white feathers glowing like fresh snow, the crow felt a sharp pang of inadequacy. "Why can't I be as beautiful as the swan?" it often wondered. One day, the crow convinced itself, "If I lived like the swan, surely I could become like the swan." It reasoned that abandoning its current lifestyle and adopting the swan's habits, swimming in the water all day and eating aquatic plants, would transform its black feathers into radiant white. Fueled by this idea, the crow made a life-changing decision: it would leave the forest behind and start anew. The crow left the safety of its home, where food was plentiful and life was familiar. It flew to the marshes and lakes where swans lived. There, the crow tried to mimic the swan in every way. Day after day, it splashed into the cold waters, attempting to swim as gracefully as the swan. It abandoned its usual diet of fruits and seeds, instead forcing itself to eat algae and water plants, even though they were foreign and indigestible to its system. But no matter how hard the crow tried, its feathers remained as black as ever. The waters didn't wash away the color it was born with. Worse still, the new diet wreaked havoc on the crow's body, which was never meant to process such food. Weakened and frail, the crow slowly began to deteriorate. Eventually, after weeks of struggle, it collapsed by the lake's edge, exhausted and alone. The story of the crow and the swan is more than a simple fable, it's a mirror reflecting the internal struggles we all face. Like the crow, we often get caught in the cycle of comparison, feeling the pressure to become a perfect version of ourselves based on someone else's standards. But does chasing someone else's life truly bring happiness and meaning? Or does it only lead to losing ourselves, just as it did for the crow? This is where the philosophy of Stoicism steps in, acting as a guiding light through life's challenges. Stoicism teaches us to understand our true nature, to live in alignment with our values, and to let go of what lies beyond our control. By embracing these lessons, we can shape a life that is not only harmonious but also authentically our own. Let's delve into these teachings and discover how the wisdom of Stoicism, paired with the fable of the crow and the swan, can inspire us to live more freely and meaningfully. 1. Don't compare, embrace your uniqueness. The crow's greatest error wasn't its black feathers, it was the moment it measured its worth against the swan's. The crow admired the swan's graceful beauty but overlooked its own sleek black feathers, quick reflexes, and adaptability, qualities that made it exceptional in its own way. This mirrors the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius: waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. B1. It's a reminder to stop chasing someone else's idea of perfection and start focusing on becoming the best version of ourselves. Every life is a distinct journey, and comparisons only blind us to the path we're meant to walk. Like the crow, we often fall into the trap of self-doubt, chasing ideals that aren't meant for us, and losing sight of our own value. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." You don't need to mimic the swan to be beautiful. True beauty lies in embracing your unique traits and using them to fulfill your purpose. Each person's strengths, weaknesses, and experiences form a combination that is one of a kind, a gift no one else can replicate. So, don't waste energy wishing to be someone else. Instead, honor the individuality that makes you who you are. 2. Focus on what's within your control. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, taught us a simple but profound truth: we cannot control the things that happen to us, but we can control how we respond to them. The crow couldn't change the color of its feathers, but it could have chosen to embrace its life in the forest, a place where it belonged, thrived, and had purpose. In life, so many of us waste energy trying to change things beyond our control. Whether it's our appearance, past circumstances, or how others view us, this endless battle only leads to frustration and burnout. The crow fell into this trap, spending all its time and effort chasing an impossible transformation instead of embracing the life it was meant to live. Instead of focusing on the unchangeable, direct your energy toward what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, and how you handle the challenges life throws your way. As Marcus Aurelius wisely wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This shift in perspective transforms obstacles into opportunities and frees you from the weight of things that aren't yours to carry. Ask yourself, am I pouring my energy into something that isn't mine to control? If the answer is yes, it's time to let go. Letting go isn't surrender, it's strength. It's choosing freedom over frustration, clarity over chaos, and peace over needless struggle. The crow's tragedy was not its black feathers, it was forgetting that it had the power to live a meaningful, fulfilling life exactly as it was. 3. Living a false life leads to pain. When the crow tried to become the swan, it turned its back on its true nature. It forced itself into a life that didn't suit it, consuming food it wasn't meant to eat and enduring challenges it wasn't built to face. In the end, this rejection of its authentic self led to its downfall. The crow's story is a stark reminder that living inauthentically, whether to meet societal standards or to gain approval from others, inevitably leads to losing ourselves. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, captured this truth perfectly: nothing brings more pain than living a life that isn't yours. When you abandon your true self to chase someone else's ideal, you disconnect from what makes you unique and meaningful. Instead of striving to conform, take a step back and ask yourself, what do I truly want? What brings me fulfillment and happiness? Living authentically requires courage. It means pushing back against a society that often imposes unrealistic expectations. It means embracing your flaws, honoring your values, and staying true to your inner compass, even when the world pushes you to change. While the path of authenticity isn't always the easiest, it's the only one that leads to genuine peace and purpose. As Epictetus reminded us, know first who you are and then adorn yourself accordingly. The crow's black feathers were never its weakness, they were its identity. And just like the crow, your truest strength lies in fully embracing who you are meant to be. 4. Acceptance is the first step to freedom. Epictetus offered timeless wisdom when he said, happiness begins with accepting that you don't need to be perfect. The crow couldn't change the color of its feathers, but had it embraced the natural beauty of its glossy black plumage, it might have found joy and purpose in being exactly what it was meant to be. In life, we often focus on what we lack, our flaws, shortcomings, or perceived imperfections, rather than recognizing the unique gifts we already possess. This fixation creates a mindset of dissatisfaction and unnecessary pressure, leaving us feeling unworthy or inadequate. The crow's tragedy was not its black feathers, it was its inability to see their beauty. Acceptance, however, doesn't mean settling for less or abandoning self-improvement. Instead, it's about grounding growth in self-love and understanding, rather than fear or competition. When you accept yourself for who you are, you gain the freedom to build a better life, not because you feel forced to, but because you recognize and honor your inherent value. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions, than your own soul. By appreciating what you already have and who you already are, you free yourself from the endless chase for external validation. Acceptance is not weakness, it is a profound act of strength, allowing you to grow from a foundation of clarity and confidence. 5. The meaning of life lies in living in harmony with nature. Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's greatest thinkers, wisely observed, live in harmony with nature, for everything in the universe is designed to fit its role. The swan was made to glide effortlessly across serene lakes, while the crow was built to thrive in the forest. But when the crow abandoned its natural home to mimic the swan, it lost not only its ability to flourish but also its sense of self. Likewise, the meaning of life is discovered when we live in alignment with our unique nature and values. Each of us has strengths, passions, and roles that are uniquely ours. When we stray from them, whether out of comparison or societal pressure, we risk losing our connection to the essence of who we are. As Epictetus said, no great thing is created suddenly, but little, by living in accordance with nature. If you're creative, let your creativity shape the world around you. If you're a great listener, use that gift to bring understanding and compassion to others. Ask yourself, what is my natural role in life, and how can I live it fully? Fulfillment doesn't come from achieving what others have, it comes from embracing the path that aligns with your true self. The crow's story reminds us that happiness doesn't lie in being everything to everyone or achieving an ideal that isn't our own. Instead, it's about finding joy and purpose in the unique role we are meant to play. By honoring our nature, we unlock the deeper meaning of life and live with harmony and authenticity. 6. Enjoy the journey, not just the destination. The crow's story is a poignant reminder that life is not a competition to become someone else. It's a journey, a continuous process of self-discovery and growth. The crow's downfall came not from its black feathers but from forgetting that the value of life lies in how we live each moment, not in the pursuit of someone else's ideal. As Marcus Aurelius profoundly stated, you don't have to travel far to find happiness. It lies in how you live right now. Too often, we focus on the end goal, believing that happiness awaits us once we've achieved something specific, a promotion, a certain image, or someone else's approval. But this fixation robs us of the present, the only moment where life truly happens. Instead of obsessing over what you haven't achieved or where you think you need to be, shift your focus to the now. Ask yourself, am I living in a way that brings joy and meaning to this moment? Celebrate the small victories, cherish the connections, and find fulfillment in the steps you take each day. True happiness doesn't reside in the destination, it lives in the journey. When you embrace the process, you open yourself to growth, gratitude, and a deeper appreciation for life's everyday moments. Life, much like the crow's story, teaches us that the present is not something to overlook, it's where the magic truly happens. Becoming friends with yourself. The story of the crow and the swan is far more than a lesson for children, it's a profound message for anyone who has ever struggled with self-doubt or felt the sting of not being enough. Epictetus captures this truth perfectly: never discount your worth simply because you are not like someone else. Your value is not defined by how well you measure up to others, but by how authentically you embrace who you are. The world doesn't need another version of someone else, it needs you. Your individuality, your quirks, your perspective, all of these make you irreplaceable. When you let go of the need to conform or compete and choose to embrace yourself fully, you unlock the path to a life of meaning and fulfillment. As you reflect on the crow's story, remember this: its black feathers were never a flaw, they were a reflection of its unique identity, a beauty all its own. And the same is true for you. Your strength lies in embracing what makes you distinct. So, stop comparing and start celebrating. You are more than enough, just as you are.